Free Beacon. FBI investigating social media accounts that appeared to indicate foreknowledge of Kirk assassination. In fact, there is a theory that there is a transgender cell. I think maybe an easier way to put it, some people have referred to as a terror cell, is there is an online clique with various communication channels that talk to each other, knew about this, in some ways aided or abetted the shooter. But at the bare minimum, there was a network of individuals, likely transgender, that were in communication with the shooter and were aware of the plans. Take a look at this. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is investigating social media posts by at least 7 different accounts that appeared to indicate foreknowledge of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, according to 3 people familiar with the investigation. The posts, one of which referenced the date of Kirk's assassination, September 10th, more than a month before it took place, were all deleted in the days following the killing. Several of the accounts appear to belong to trans individuals, and at least one of them followed suspect Tyler Robinson's roommate, with whom Robinson was allegedly in a relationship. Now, here's an interesting thing. There is a conspiracy theory that the roommate is the shooter and that Robinson is the patsy.
Dude, I mean, did you see that footage? I saw this footage today of like the two individuals early on. It's beginning when he's like doing this product throwout. I think it was what he's doing, and you can see in the back on the frames, you'll see two figures above the roof from which he was shot. It was like the Leisure Center, whatever it's called. I haven't.
That's fake. It's fake.
They were on the roof.
It's someone's hands.
Yeah.
If you look at it.
Really?
Yeah, I saw people sharing. There's so many. They've littered
so
the
much
internet with so many easy things to debunk.
Here's another one. There's an image of the suspect, and people are putting it next to the image of the suspect in jail, and they don't look the same. It's because the image of the suspect in the stairwell is an AI-generated image. It's not real.
Right.
Yeah.
Upscaled,
Well, for the past year, I've had a guest on my show. We've done about 3 episodes with BX talking about these cults that are these death cults that are online. A lot of them have a lot of trans ideology in them, and they reference each other, and they're obsessed with mass shooters. They idolize it. They fetishize it. It's a 09A 764 network. It's a big deal. Some of them have been in the military. It's a big network. So this is like the Catholic Church shooter. All the writings on his guns reference a lot of those shooters and other things.
This is an interesting one. In this TikTok, it reads, Charles James Kirk, Mr. College Dropout, does not know what's coming tomorrow. Be ready. This isn't a threat. It's a promise. One post said, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college. I really hope someone finally evaporates him. Let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. Another post says, you guys, I have something big coming soon. Just be sure to check the news. You'll know it when you see it. Well, that's that. 4:52 at 9:10.
I guarantee there's a lot of people involved with this.
Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed.
And they're grabbing him super early. It was the 762 Colt is what you were referencing.
764,
Where
yeah.
they recruit on like Roblox. I mean, that's a game for like
children.
Yeah.
Like, they go after your kids, and they will try to make your kids harm themselves, do horrible things to kind of induct them into the cult, and then it turns into real life violence. And the FBI
they groom them really young on even on Reddit and all that, and they go on there and they go on these Discord servers, and they I've seen there were these Discord servers where they were there was this big thing like. Was going for a long time. There were like these grooming groups of people who were like trying to convince young kids that they were trans, and they were very successful. You know, they got a whole cohort of people who actually weren't like that, and they somehow convinced them this is a thing. There's a pipeline for this stuff, and mate, I can't believe people are saying, "Oh, the simplest answer must be the simplest." You know, I look at there's so much more to it, mate.
Oh yeah, when you take the lonely and isolate them, and they're over medicated, and you start feeding them all this negative, like demonic stuff, it's easy to activate them.
Well, it's easy for people like us to go, oh, they're just crazies. Because we go outside, we have beers with the lads, we go out, we have fun or whatever, we talk to people, we have social skills, whatever. There's kids out there who never leave the house, they got no one, you know, and they get preyed upon by these people in like Roblox and this, like. I can't imagine how to get to that point where you can get manipulated like that. But there seems to be a large number of people right now. I'm guessing it's because of social media. You feel like an ant in an anthill.
It's MK Ultra.
Yeah, you're
They've
lonely,
been doing this for decades.
You know?
Well, and also like when we think who's running these types of cults or sextortion groups or whatever, like we think it's like some creepy old guy. But every time they bust these people, they're also fairly young. Like
they're not memers. They're like
and they're
kids
just
that.
other atomized individuals that are just feeding each other like this. Like it's a death cult. That's quite literally the only thing that
a mold growing, mate. It feeds on itself, you know. It's strange,
and it's getting worse and worse and worse because every social indicator of young people's matriculation is going the wrong way. So it's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
We see the like there's a lot. I can't remember the exact figure. But there's a large percentage of young women, especially, who identify as LGBT, and that's like whatever. But it's just like generally that was delegated to a very small minority of people for all of history and all of ancient history, prehistory. And you look at that. There's always been gay dudes going around, but mate, you look at it now. These are large percentages. I can't quite. I'm not going to say a number because I'm not a leftist. So I'm not going to say a number just to say a number and go, this is the number. This is the truth. I'm going to wait till I actually get a fact. But mate, it's crazy.
I want to play this clip from The Five of Jesse Waters, which is kind of horrifying.
These aren't fringe people. These are people that are teaching your children celebrating Charlie Kirk being assassinated. These are neurologists. These are people who work at Fortune 500 companies. And they're sounding like the devil himself. And so these people, we don't have to tolerate. We can forgive, but they have to get on their knees and they have to beg for forgiveness. They have to repent.
The important thing right here is we're talking about the radicalization. Do you want to go to a hospital where the nurse was cheering for the death of Charlie Kirk? You show up and you've got like an American flag tattoo, or maybe you've got "We the People" on your arm, or "Join or Die" tattooed.
Go to a place where they potentially hate you.
And you go to a place where there's a woman working in there and she said these people should die. I'm not going to let that person give me any kind of shot or IV or anything.
Well, that's why it's so strange that this is a wedge issue, because it's like generally in any, like you were saying earlier, in any workplace, if someone's really excited that someone died, they would get fired for that. Like that,
Bro,
that has been the standard.
No
for a very
brainer
long
for
time.
all of employment history. It's not like this isn't a new cancel culture for the right thing. This is just common sense, mate. They call it,
Precisely, yeah.
what do they call it? Accountability culture now. Consequence culture. That's what they call it.
That's what the left has always called it. But I think the more worrying thing is to stop and consider teachers, doctors, lawyers, executives, Secret Service agents, people in the military cheering for a political assassination against an individual who was a moderate. That is the terrifying reality that we're dealing with. The radicalization. Look, every conservative knows I'm not a conservative. Every liberal will call me far right. If a moderate, middle-of-the-road centrist, liberal leaning in certain areas, conservative in some areas, if a moderate is far right, y'all, you got targets on your back.
Yeah, you're a problem, mate. Yeah. No tolerance, What a tolerant group of people, mate.
And now there's this lie where if you go on networks like Threads or Blue Sky, everyone's ignoring Threads, by the way, but Threads is really bad.
So I went on as soon as the news dropped. I was like, please. I actually went on Threads just as an experiment because I was distraught. I was actually out with a coffee and I actually heard people. I was with my girl and you heard people on laptops. In the afternoon, there's all these, paper pushers on their laptops or whatever. They're all, I'm a writer, I'm a journalist, I'm an A&R, I'm in Nashville. So you get all these music industry people, mate. In the corner, these two girls, blue hair, looking like freaks, mate. No offense, whatever. Cool if you like blue hair, but honestly, I think it's disgusting. In the corner, you hear them go, "Oh my God, Charlie Kirk." You could hear it. And they're like, "Oh my God, oh my God." They're like jumping around. Yeah. And that's the first interaction that I saw about it. Made me sick. My girl was crying. My manager and his wife are crying. First thing I did, I'm like, let me check Threads as an experiment to see if this is a common thing that I'm witnessing, or these are just two fucked up people at the coffee shop. Mate, I've never been on Blue Sky. I don't know. It was disgusting. Actually disgusting. Rest in piss or whatever they say, mate.
Threads is insane. I don't think people realize that there's no middle ground anymore.
No.
I just pulled my Threads app right now, and the first thing I see is someone saying Charlie Kirk was a weirdo. He advocated for the inherent inferiority of certain social groups at a time where hate crimes and discriminatory legislation were on the rise. It's just the whole thing. And then there are some conservatives trying to push back, but it's just a flood of liberals celebrating it. The funny thing is when they said, there was a viral post on Threads that said, "You mean there's a group that is further far right than Charlie Kirk," with a bunch of exclamation points? Because their lie they were pushing was that Nick Fuentes got Charlie Kirk killed, which is absolutely insane, by the way, fake. And Axios is even debunked.
It's ridiculous.
But it was because they needed an excuse to say, we're the good guys. But Greg Gutfeld exploded on Jessica Tarlov on The Five today. And he was like, the reason you need to lie is because you're starting to realize you're not the good guys. And they're not. They're the villains. They cheer for the villains in movies. They made the orcs They tried to make the orcs
Unbelievable.
into good guys.
They
and
ruined the orcs, mate.
Rings
They
of
just
power.
ruined the orcs.
They did.
Straight up. They ruined
right.
my orcs, you know?
Do you see the show?
Yeah, they ruined orcs. I can't believe you could ruin orcs. They're like one of the most steady character archetypes of all time. They're disgusting beasts. They're like, let's give them thoughts and feelings and shit. You know, it's like, no, dude.
They're poor families that are scared of humans.
These
They-
poor orc families that kill
They did.
people. You know?
Real.
And it's funny because it's the meme where it's the Battle of Helm's Deep. Who can, if you don't know what that is, too bad, you're not nerd enough. Anyway, it's a big battle in Lord of the Rings, and the battle. And you see, I think it's like, I don't know, it shows Gandalf talking to Aragorn or whatever, and he's like, "Well, let them in. Don't be racist."
What?
When he's like, the orcs are here at the gates. It's like, "Well, let them in. Don't be racist."
Let them in. I don't believe in borders, so let them in.
Right?
I also want to say, like, I believe these cults exist, but I also don't want to discount this idea of accelerationism and things that our government has done over the years, whether it's Operation Gladio, Condor, the years of lead that they might have participated in Italy. And I think there's these forces beyond just the foot soldiers on the ground that want to hasten the end times and collapse society. And that's what I see a lot of this. Whether or not they're actually behind this, I think they take advantage of these tragedies and they want to bring us to the end.
Well, the only thing separating these atomized, shooters and the people that are celebrating is that the people celebrating just have something to lose. Because fundamentally, they have the same ideology, this ideology of death. The only thing separating them from these executives or teachers or whatever is those are people that have something to lose. But we're dealing with the same ideology across the board here, from the atomized cultist shooter and your doctor.
You can get away with much
celebrating.
more when you're homeless and you're unemployed, living in
Right.
the basement. You can say whatever you like, but the teacher, I can't believe people. I just honestly can't believe people are so confident right now. Like, we live in a confidence hellhole. I think, I grew up in Australia where it's like, if you're too confident, you get smacked on the back of the head. It's like, calm down, mate, all that. But nowadays, you see people on social media. They are so confident in their anonymity. So I'm a bit dyslexic, but mate, they're so confident in the fact that they don't think they'll be seen, that they're cheering for death. They're a nurse. Or I saw this woman saying she was a childcare worker. She said, "You know what? Fuck the kids. Oh, he's a father. Well, fuck the kids, fuck the wife." It's like, bitch, you work as a childcare worker with your name on your Facebook and you got your place of work right there. They instantly sacked her, obviously. Yeah. But I can't believe people have the audacity, mate. I would never, If I was working at McDonald's, I'd be too afraid to lose my job. I'm like, please, no, I'm a good boy,
Their ideology means more to them.
Chicken burger, mate. I like that reference, bro.
Yeah.
That's their whole identity, though.
Yeah.
It's a religion.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's strange.
So it's more than their jobs, more than anything. It's like they are virtue signaling to their death cult that we accept this.
They
They
think
get a little taste of martyrdom if they get fired.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Exactly.
They legitimately like this is not a LARP. This is not a bit. They legitimately think they're fighting fascism.
Well, I like that point you said, like role-playing martyrdom.
Yeah.
You look at that, even in the protests, they're wearing the little scarves on their head, the kafirs or whatever, trying to look like the warrior. Kind of, it's almost like what's that movie? The Scottish dude, fight for our freedom.
Braveheart.
Highlander.
Braveheart, mate. Like that's what it
Highlander's
feels like.
Braveheart.
It feels like a fake attempt to kind of feel like that. And you look at them; they're a bunch of like 5 foot tall, mentally ill, scrawny losers, and they're like, "We are warriors," and they're like getting taken away from the cops. They're like, "Take my video." It's like ever since the George Floyd, it's been there's been some kind of like this feeling of just prestige that comes with getting arrested or being a martyr or being a moron. And I just look at it, I just don't know. I feel like the whole world's in like a state of shock right now that I haven't snapped out of yet. I haven't snapped out of the shock, just going, how can these people be doing this? I don't know about you guys, but I haven't snapped out of it. Like most people just like still struggling to find words.
Yeah.
And I don't even know, mate. It's just
hard to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Your
So
brain's just
the-
going and going.
The next crazy thing too, we'll just mention it briefly. I don't need to pull anything up for this. Is the people who are posting within a day? Israel did it. Israel killed Charlie Kirk.
That's comedy, though.
And
they're lying.
with
plane thing.
So I will say this: Candace Owens, her live stream from 2 hours ago, is titled "They Are Lying About Charlie Kirk," and it's a picture of Netanyahu. She has several viral posts where she said in the lead up to his assassination, or at some point, he had rejected money from Netanyahu, and that he was fearful of the Israel lobby and feared that they would kill him if he didn't do what they said or something to that effect. And all I can say is, knowing, I'm not going to pretend like, I hung out with Charlie every single day or anything like that. I've heard nothing of the sort. I will just say that I reached out to several people and denied every single step of it. Like, it's just plumb psychotic. It's just fake. It's completely fake. Now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they would lie to me about that. I also don't know why Candace would make a video with a picture of Bibi Netanyahu titled, "They are lying to us about Charlie Kirk," and then say that Charlie was scared of Israel. Or Ian Carroll, who posted shortly after, he had a viral tweet where he said within 24 hours, everyone figured out who did it. It was Israel. Of course, none of it makes any sense. They made these videos where they show Charlie Kirk talking to Ben Shapiro about genocide in Gaza. And it was a typical podcast layup where Charlie said to Ben, "What would you say to someone who called what's going on in Gaza a genocide?" And then Ben answers. They then zoom in on Ben's face and play music to make it seem like Charlie Kirk had become critical of Israel. He had not. Charlie, in fact, was making videos where he brought young Gen Z men in to debate them on why Jews in Israel were good and why he supports Israel. So this narrative that's emerged is the weirdest thing ever. Maybe it's for clicks. Maybe it's because people have Israel derangement syndrome. I don't know. All I can say is this. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just some guy. When I saw Candace Owens and Ian Carroll posting about it, I reached out to several people because we are directly connected to all of them. We've been on TPUSA stage 3 times in the past 3 years, which requires heavy coordination to bring a show, transport, crew, and all of that stuff. Not only that, we are friends with tons of people who work with TPUSA directly coming on this show almost every other day or routinely. And it's just been patently denied by everyone as a fake, fabricated story made up. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know Candace Owens that well either. I don't know why she would make it up. It's weird.
Yeah.
I think it's just not true. I trust my friends, and I have no reason to believe that the people I know who are saying that never happened, this is fake, would lie to me.
I think there's something beyond just a cult. And I also think the Israel narrative might have something to do with my theory on accelerationism, where they drop a narrative in to just sow more discord and make people fight and blame and point the fingers, people blaming just one community, this other community. And I think a lot of the goal with accelerationism is that's the chaos. They know how things will be interpreted online. They know who's going to say what. So they just point the fingers and things fall apart.
Yeah, like Sneeko saying that's what they wanted. They wanted the left and right at each other's necks. That's what they wanted.
Well,
They,
I don't,
though.
yeah, I mean, we know.
The ambiguous they of old.
Who is they,
And
though?
to me, they right now would be, there's larger factions within the government, deep state types that did things like Operation Gladio or Condor, Years of Lead, who go undercover in these chat rooms to radicalize people. You know, we've seen that over the years.
Yeah, well, I just think at this point, like, if you had your Israel narrative locked and loaded, you're just like 3-4 days after the shooting, you're just not on the team, because it's like we have an opportunity here to finally crush this leftist death cult, and then now you're trying to like do a bait.
They're protecting the left.
Yeah.
I don't care about Israel. I don't want to fund Israel. I don't care what Israel does. Let's cut off all funding and sever ties with them 100%. How does that sound for you guys? Let me stand alongside everybody who hates Israel and say, we're going to cut off ties to Israel. They're on their own. They get no more money from us. Don't know, don't care. Now, why are they defending the left? Why are they running cover from somebody who all indications is trans ideologue? All of a sudden they're saying, hey, don't look over there, look over here at this other country halfway around the world. It could be because anything that could be used to weaponize anger against Israel is part of their strategy, I guess. I don't know. I find it weird that at the same time as I can say, hey, stop distracting from this story about a left-aligned individual who assassinated a prominent conservative, they then say, I'm a Zionist. They say Tim Pool supports the Jews or Zionism or whatever, when I can literally say in the same breath, cut off all funding, sever all ties, and they can do whatever they want. We're out. No, nope, that's not good enough. That's why I think it's fake. Because if I come out and say, I advocate for the U.S. to cut all funding 100% from Israel, don't want to be involved, and they still call me a Zionist, and they still call me pro-Israel, you know they're not serious, and they're lying.
Well, the people that are like that are bringing up Israel all the time, to say you don't support them isn't enough. They actually want the U.S. to just help the Palestinians destroy Israel. Like, really, they really do want to see Israel destroyed so much that they're like, the U.S. should start bombing, the Israelis, and because of all the terrible things. Because the point is, they hate Jews in Israel. So when you say, oh, well, let's just forget it, I don't want to give them money or whatever, that's not good enough, because you have to hate the way that they hate, because that's what it's based on.
I don't think they all hate Jews, though. I think you can't oversimplify it.
They hate Israel.
They hate. I don't think hating Israel. You can hate the government and still like Jews.
They still, but they want to see the U.S. involved in military action against Israel.
That I disagree with. I just want to walk away.
There is an issue in that there are certain people who are critical of Israel, as anyone is allowed to be. There are certain people who just hate Jews, and the people who hate Jews will always take an opportunity to overlap with those who hate Israel, and so intentionally obfuscating the argument.
Yeah.
So that way, it becomes challenging when you've got somebody whose real motive is hating Jews, just masquerading as an anti-war or anti-interventionist personality.
Yep.
Well, it's just the flip side of the same people when Kirk went down and people were upset about it, people that were apolitical. And then they would literally, and if you don't believe me, just go to a comment section of like a normie Instagram account that, was announcing the death. And people would be like, but all these children dying in Palestine, like, what about that? And it's like, okay, yeah, that's sad, but
Two things can be
Charlie
bad,
Kirk
yeah.
right now. But the flip side is the people that are instantly like, oh, Israel did this. Yeah, it's Israel. Let me just change the conversation from left versus right and turn it into a geopolitical argument.
Just jingly keys, mate. Jingly keys.
Yeah, precisely.
Keep your head off the actual task at hand. Let's bicker about.
That's all it is.
shit,
Yeah, they're just trying to change the narrative.
Hey, look. That's what it is. That's straight up what it is. And I think it's weird. You see so much. You see so much of this, bro, and it's just I'm honestly just sick of it.
Yeah,
It's pro-Democrat, right? The leftists in this country hate Israel.
Yeah.
And they obfuscated the shooter's motivation or ideology. And then other people came out immediately blaming Israel, once again aligning with the left on hatred of Israel and, again, obfuscating the identity or the motivation of the shooter. I just find it to be kind of over the top, completely obvious. That, I got to be honest, when, I think it was Jackson Hinkle or whatever, had a tweet where he said that GTA was Israel or Zionist or something. People are Timmy's joking, and I'm like, okay, maybe, but when people can't figure that out because he does stuff like that all the time, it almost feels like it's so overt and over the top, it actually makes you question whether they're serious when they say it. Because you're like, why, is this a joke? In what reality did Israel kill Charlie Kirk? I don't understand how that's the craziest thing. I mean, if you came out and said that Russia did it, I'd believe you. I'd be more likely to believe you. If you were like, oh yeah, because he was in Trump's ear on war plans or something, I don't know.
I just see there's a more believable, more simplistic way of looking at it. There's a more obvious option here. There's a radical group of people in this country that just want someone dead, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what it's. We've had a deterioration of discourse, a divide that's grown to a valley. Why do you have to jump into this is a foreign nation's fault or this is this? It's obvious, mate. It's a radical group of people that want people dead, and it's the deterioration of discourse and just polite society, and we're seeing it in real time. We felt it all these years. You guys longer living in America. I've only been here 3 years, but you can feel it. So it's, to me, I just think it's just an obvious answer. It's just some crazy dude, a part of a crazy agenda that's taking over.
And I get it. I'm a little reluctant to judge whatever right now and take any answer at its face value, knowing how even RFK Jr. doesn't believe the assassin that we have killed his father. You look at Lee Harvey Oswald, and the CIA was tracking him all over the place. So it's like the answers, when they come so easy, I'm a little reluctant to believe then that's it. I can't just.
But then also a bit of healthy skepticism is always great too. You can't always believe, because then you're just the jingly keys work on you too, mate.
They count on you accepting the narrative that makes the most sense.
And that's and we've seen that track record working in American history, just general history with warfare.
JFK died in the '60s, and we're still.
There's
not
a lot
sure.
of people. There are a lot of people that are like, the news said it was,
right.
And but yeah, I certainly think. A lot of people saying, well, look at this bad thing, therefore you didn't speak on, you said earlier, you didn't touch on Gaza.
Yeah.
You didn't touch on Gaza, now you're bringing up Charlie Kirk. I'm retarded, and this is my best argument. And I look at it, and I'm just like, mate, two things can be bad at once. We've had one of the most significant political figures in American history get shot in the neck on in front of millions of people in HD 4K. First time that's really happened in that graphical kind of way. Like it was terrifying. And you see that and you're like, why can't we focus on that? Why can't we put our attention on that? Like, obviously, there's bad things happening all over the world. You look in Africa right now with all the slaves and all the people getting killed, Christians and all these things. People aren't saying that. It's just diversion, mate. I look at it, I'm like, this is a very pivotal time in American history. And people say, oh, you got to focus on everything. Mate, I want to focus on Charlie Kirk because he died. And that's the way I look at it. And people be deflecting all the time, but I think that's what it comes down to, mate.
We got 2 comments I want to read. One says, Peter McKay says, how about, Tim, you watch Candace's video like I did, and then you can see that she kind of showed some proof. Sure. Dustin Jones says, Candace didn't say Israel did it. She was saying Bibi was lying by omission about a letter Charlie wrote. Nothing to do with his death. Well, certainly, if that's the case, then I apologize if it came off that way. My point was, when you make a video with a picture of Bibi that says they're lying about Charlie Kirk 3 or 4 days after his assassination, and there is a spattering of posts online, particularly with other people like Ian Carroll saying Israel did it, that's kind of the insinuation by the thumbnail. But fair point. I didn't watch her stream.
He said
on the
he
net.
got into some kind of heated argument in the Hamptons with
Right. I saw some of the X posts.
Yeah.
Which, of course, it sounds like the implication is they killed him.
Yeah, like Fuentes was going live before the show saying that he had the smoking gun, or he's addressing the smoking gun, which is like, we don't know.
He's saying it's
is.
Israel?
That's, I mean, you know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like, okay, it's one thing. I'm not specifically addressing Candace or anything. I'm just saying, why are we in a rush to let the left off the hook here? That's just so strange to me. Because it's like, we have a huge opportunity where the admin can crack down, and it's like, we're just going to completely let them off the hook because of like weird smoking guns that are apparently out there.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.